Welcome to BA 161 Human Resource Management. Now this course will be particularly valuable to you if you're planning a career in human resources, in management, or even if your ambition is to just be the best professional you can, but need to understand how this important aspect of the workplace operates. It's impossible to conduct business without dealing with human resource matters in at least some form. Oh, you may not think of the job as such, but you or your manager has to take into account a variety of functions that all fall under a heading of human resources. Of course, some organizations are large enough to have their own HR departments. Sometimes one person may be the entire HR department. There are even times when a line supervisor has to deal with human resource matters. From a small mom-and-pop shop to a mega corporation, there are issues of designing jobs, attracting and hiring qualified employees, teaching, future development, analyzing work, evaluating employee performance, and keeping the workplace as employee-friendly as possible. Basically, what we have is a lengthy list of human relations practices. You can consider them people practices, the policies, practices, and systems that influence worker attitudes and performance. A formal list might consist of duties such as analysis and design work, human resource planning, recruiting, selection, training and development, compensation, performance management, and employee relations. Even a sole proprietor has to spend a good deal of time dealing with all of these. So in this unit, we'll take a close look at how human resources fits in with the organization's overall performance. Running a business is more than concentrating on cash, equipment, and technology and facilities. People are every bit as important. And this is where the Human Resources Department shines in promoting the success and continued well-being of the organization. A commitment to human resources can contribute to a business's sustainable competitive advantage, the quality of the product or service, company products, and continued customer satisfaction. Good use of human resources can be the essence of getting the most out of the non-human challenges of the operation. What we're talking about is human capital. Employees help bolster the bottom line through their training, experience, judgment, intelligence, relationships, and even insights. It's the responsibility of the Human Resources Department to bring all of these functions together and continue to manage them once firmly in place. It's up to the Human Resources Department to either lead or play a key role in analyzing and designing jobs, recruiting and selecting employees, training those employees, undertaking performance management, handling company pay and benefits issues, communicating between the company and the employees, heading collective bargaining efforts, as well as making sure company complies with the current labor laws, leading human resource planning, and easing the way in managing company change. There used to be a tendency to think of human resources as a necessary job that you didn't want to be the one doing. It was even viewed as a dead end to a business career. Even in my MBA studies, we were advised to stay away from the so-called personnel. But in recent years, especially in the event of so many recent business scandals and the changing nature of the workplace laws and regulations, human resources are now considered an important part of the corporate operation. Human resources provides the basics for a high-performance work system and helps manage the change needed to adapt to dynamic conditions. In some ways, human resources became an internal partner in handling administrative services and transactions, as well as playing a role in strategic planning. Here are just a few of the qualities a good human resources department can bring to an organization. Value, in that human resources is able to spend the time performing critical function services for other departments that would be too overwhelming or time-consuming. Human resources specialists bring a high level of skill and knowledge. Human resources cannot be imitated that in an organization gets the assistance needed to know which employees are providing key advantages, and there's no good substitute for good human relations. In that human relations can help develop highly trained and motivated people to improve their skills and abilities and apply those to caring about the company's customers. Human resources can seem so simple that anyone can do it, and why would an organization be so preoccupied with the topic these days? Remember that one of the true examples of a professional is to make something look so easy that anyone thinks he or she can do it, and then tries it and finds out it's much more difficult. So it is with human resources. There are numerous skills that are needed to be an effective human resources specialist. The list can even apply to department managers for the aspects of human resources they use in their positions. There's a need to be an effective communicator. The job can be part negotiator. And the best human resources people lead the way in team development. There's the need for leadership to manage conflict and change within the workplace. And then there are the technical aspects of applying human resources to the job. It's important to be up on current techniques, applicable laws, and even computer systems. Often it's the human resources department that even has to handle these aspects for other departments and lead the way in teaching or coaching other managers. Human resources is a built-in part of the job for an organization's supervisors. The supervisor is the first line person to analyze work, and the supervisor often takes part in interviewing candidates and sometimes is the only one to interview a prospective employee. The supervisor can also be part of a larger team and participates in the job candidate selection. It's also up to the supervisor to ensure that the new hire as well as current employees are trained. There are times when the supervisor has to be the one to supply and conduct that training. Performance appraisals are a direct responsibility. The supervisor is also one of the best equipped to make recommendations about whether an employee is worthy of a pay increase. The supervisor is also the immediate face of the company to the rest of the staff. Another important aspect of human resources is the promotion of and the support for the enforcement of the right and wrong within an organization. At the very heart of personnel issues, we have ethics. An overall umbrella of ethics facing a business situation can consist of three basic principles. The general good, respect for rights and fairness, and in talking of good, well, let's consider the greatest good for the greatest number of people. When it comes to respect, we need to keep in mind a respect for basic privacy, due process, consent, and people's free speech rights. Fairness encompasses a wide variety of issues. To treat employees fairly, to treat customers fairly, to provide a safe workplace, and overall employee safety, and all of this encompassed in fair employment practices. And it's up to the Human Resources Department to help organizations, management teams accomplish all of this. Now, we've already said that human resources can be a business within the business, a type of partner, if you will. And it's with this that goes the jobs within the partnership that make up human resources. A great deal of effort is spent on attracting the best candidates to the organization, and that means recruiters are needed. But it's not just enough to attract the best and the brightest. It's also important to make sure that employees are equipped to do the job as effectively and efficiently as possible. Now that means trainers are needed to make sure employees develop the best possible skills. And in very large operations, as well as many small ones, there's a good chance that the organization will be dealing with at least one and possibly a number of unions. Therefore, it's necessary to have personnel skilled in labor relations. Now, typically, human resources professionals are college educated. Many even have advanced degrees. The pay can be quite high, and the personal reward's great because there's so much satisfaction that can come from helping others both on the job and in life. As the course progresses over the coming weeks, we'll take a closer look at the various aspects of human resources. We'll deal with trends in business and how human resources are related, the legalities, and how they're linked to the work of the organization. We'll get into planning and recruiting of employees, placing them in the best positions, and training them. And from there, we'll progress to assessing and developing human resources, as well as handling separation issues when employees are no longer needed or when they move on their own. Now, from there, we move on to compensation, including pay, performance recognition, and benefits. And we'll finally take up a variety of human resources issues, including dealing with unions and developing high-performance organizations. So in our next unit, we'll take up trends in human resource management.